When Pooh Shiesty dropped the loyalty betrayal bomb, everyone thought the story was finished, but that was only the beginning. Because this time, Gucci Mane isn't staying silent. What used to be whispered behind closed industry doors is now out in the open, and with every word, the tension keeps rising. Think about it. A mentor who helped build a career, open doors, and put an artist in the spotlight now being accused of betrayal. For Gucci Mane, this isn't just a diss, it's a challenge to his legacy. Insiders say Gucci believes the loyalty narrative is being twisted and history is being rewritten in real time. And when that happens, Gucci's responses are always cold, calculated, and ruthless. This isn't just personal beef, it's a war over power, control, and survival in the rap industry. On one side, an artist trying to tell his own truth. On the other, a boss fighting to protect everything he's built. Social media is split down the middle. Some fans say Pooh Shiesty finally spoke his truth, while others believe calling out Gucci Mane is a dangerous move that could end careers. And here's the part nobody's ready for: this response won't stop at words. In this video, we're breaking down Gucci Mane's fireback, the hidden messages, the industry signals, and what the public still hasn't caught on to yet. Because this loyalty war has officially turned ugly, and what's coming next could shake hip-hop to its core. To understand why this loyalty war between Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane has reached this breaking point, we have to rewind way before the accusations, before the silence, before the internet chose sides. This story doesn't start with a diss or an interview. It starts with opportunity. When Pooh Shiesty first emerged from Memphis, the streets were already buzzing. His raw energy, cold delivery, and unfiltered street perspective made him stand out fast. But talent alone doesn't move the industry, power does. And that power came in the form of Gucci Mane and 1017 Records. Gucci didn't just sign Pooh Shiesty, he signed belief. In an industry where most artists get shelved, Pooh Shiesty got visibility, features, promotion, and the Gucci cosign that had already launched multiple careers. For a while, everything looked solid. The interviews were respectful. Social media posts showed unity. Fans called Pooh Shiesty the future of 1017. But behind the scenes, things were already shifting. Industry insiders say cracks started forming when business expectations didn't align with reality. Pooh Shiesty was gaining momentum fast, viral songs, street credibility, and growing fan loyalty. With success comes questions. Who controls the money? Who controls the image? Who gets the final say? And that's where loyalty becomes complicated. From Gucci Mane's perspective, the structure was clear. He provided the platform, the machine, and the protection. In his mind, loyalty meant patience, respect, and understanding the hierarchy. Gucci has always played the long game, building brands, not just artists. But from Pooh Shiesty's side, the story feels different. Sources close to Shiesty suggest he felt boxed in. That the success he was generating didn't fully translate into control. That decisions were being made around him, not with him. And when an artist starts to feel like their voice doesn't matter, frustration grows quietly, until it explodes. Then came the silence. Fans noticed it first. No more public shoutouts. No more visible support. Gucci Mane promoting other artists. Pooh Shiesty moving differently. No direct shots, just distance. And in hip-hop, distance is rarely accidental. The internet began speculating. Was Pooh Shiesty being pushed aside? Was Gucci losing interest? Or was this simply business as usual? Then everything changed. When Pooh Shiesty finally spoke out, the word he chose wasn't random: betrayal. That single word shifted the narrative instantly. Betrayal implies trust. History. A bond that was broken. Not just a contract that expired. And that's what hit Gucci Mane the hardest. Because Gucci's reputation isn't just built on music, it's built on loyalty culture. He's long positioned himself as someone who gives chances, who pulls artists out of tough situations, who doesn't abandon his people. To be accused of betrayal isn't just disrespectful, it threatens the foundation of his legacy. That's why this response matters so much. Gucci Mane doesn't rush reactions. He watches. He measures. And when he speaks, it's rarely emotional, it's strategic. Insiders say Gucci believes Pooh Shiesty's claims leave out critical context. That sacrifices were made, that business realities were ignored, that the narrative being pushed online is incomplete. And here's the uncomfortable truth about the music industry: loyalty doesn't always look fair. What one side calls betrayal, the other side may call discipline. What one side sees as control, the other sees as structure. And when millions of dollars, reputations, and futures are involved, perspectives collide hard. Social media didn't help. Once fans picked sides, the situation escalated. Clips resurfaced. Old interviews were reanalyzed. Lyrics were dissected for hidden meanings. Every move Gucci made was viewed as a response, even when he said nothing. And that silence? That silence spoke loudly. Because everyone knows, when Gucci Mane finally responds, it's never just about clearing his name. It's about sending a message, not just to Pooh Shiesty, but to the entire industry. A message that says, I built this, I survived this, and I won't let my story be rewritten. What makes this situation even more intense is that neither side is completely wrong. Pooh Shiesty represents a new generation of artists who want ownership, transparency, and control early. Gucci Mane represents an era that understands the cost of survival, where structure kept people alive, not just relevant. That generational clash is at the heart of this war. And now, with Gucci Mane finally preparing to fire back, the question isn't who's right, it's who's ready for the fallout. Because once a mentor and student turn into opponents, there's no clean ending. Only receipts, consequences, and careers hang in the balance. We're breaking down Gucci Mane's response, the subtle warnings, the power moves behind the scenes, and why this loyalty war is about to turn even darker. Stay locked in, because what happens next could change everything. By the time Gucci Mane decided to respond, the narrative was already running wild. Blogs had picked sides. Fans were arguing timelines. And Pooh Shiesty's word, betrayal, had taken on a life of its own. But Gucci wasn't interested in reacting emotionally. He was watching carefully, letting the noise expose exactly who was listening and who wasn't. Because when Gucci Mane fires back, it's never random. Instead of a loud rant or viral interview, Gucci's response came in pieces: subtle moves, strategic silence, and carefully chosen words that carried more weight than any direct diss. To casual fans, it looked like nothing. To industry insiders, it looked like a warning shot. The first shift was business. Sources say Gucci began restructuring internally, tightening control around 1,017 operations, and making it very clear who still had access and who didn't. No announcements. No explanations. Just doors quietly closing. In the music industry, access is power, and removing it sends a message louder than any tweet ever could. Then came the language. Gucci never said Pooh Shiesty's name directly, but his statements hit close enough that nobody missed the target. He spoke about entitlement, about artists forgetting who opened the door, about loyalty being confused with independence. To Gucci, this wasn't about silencing anyone, it was about correcting the story. From his perspective, Pooh Shiesty wasn't betrayed, he was built. Gucci believes that success doesn't happen in isolation. He provided the infrastructure, the protection, the relationships, and the machine that turned raw talent into a brand. And when artists reach a certain level, Gucci expects acknowledgement, not accusation. That's where this turns ugly. Because while Pooh Shiesty's supporters see a young artist standing up for himself, Gucci's supporters see something else entirely: disrespect without accountability. And Gucci Mane has survived too much to let his reputation be rewritten by anyone, especially someone he once put his name behind. Insiders say Gucci feels the betrayal accusation ignores critical facts. Missed opportunities that were still funded. Decisions made for long-term survival, not short-term popularity. Situations where Gucci allegedly stepped in to protect Pooh Shiesty from industry consequences the public never knew about. And that's the most dangerous part of this feud. The things we don't know. Gucci's fireback isn't loud because it doesn't need to be. His power comes from longevity. From knowing where the bodies are buried, metaphorically, and choosing restraint instead of exposure. But make no mistake, restraint doesn't mean weakness. It means leverage. As Gucci's calculated, almost surgical. Gucci's message is simple. You can tell your truth, but you don't get to erase mine. At the same time, Pooh Shiesty isn't backing down. Sources close to him say he believes silence equals guilt. That if he doesn't speak up now, his side of the story will never matter. From his viewpoint, this is about reclaiming agency, not attacking a mentor. But intent doesn't always change impact. And the impact here is explosive. Because this feud has exposed a larger problem in the industry, the blurred line between loyalty and ownership. When does guidance become control? When does protection become restriction? And who gets to define betrayal? Gucci Mane comes from an era where structure saved lives. Pooh Shiesty represents a generation that wants freedom immediately. Neither side fully understands the other, and that misunderstanding is fueling everything. As Gucci's fireback continues behind the scenes, the pressure mounts. Every move Pooh Shiesty makes now is being watched. Every statement is being measured. Because when you challenge a gatekeeper publicly, the consequences aren't always instant, they're gradual. And that's what makes this situation so tense. There's no screaming match. No public collapse. Just a slow tightening of space. Gucci Mane hasn't ended Pooh Shiesty's career, but he's made it clear that the road forward won't be easy. And that might be the real response. Not destruction, but distance. Because in Gucci's world, loyalty isn't demanded. It's remembered. And right now, memory is being contested. By now, it's clear this loyalty war between Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane was never just about one statement, one accusation, or one response. It became a collision between generations, values, and two very different ideas of survival in hip-hop. And like all real industry conflicts, the most important consequences didn't explode loudly, they unfolded quietly. The first fallout was perception. In today's music world, perception moves faster than truth. Once the word betrayal entered the conversation, fans didn't wait for context. They chose sides instantly. Pooh Shiesty became the voice of the young artist breaking free. Gucci Mane became the powerful boss accused of holding the keys too tightly. Whether fair or not, that framing stuck, and it forced both men into roles they didn't ask to play. For Pooh Shiesty, the short-term reaction felt empowering. Supporters praised his honesty. Social media framed him as brave. But empowerment comes with risk. Speaking out against a mentor doesn't just expose the mentor, it exposes the artist too. Suddenly, every move Pooh Shiesty made was scrutinized. Not just creatively, but politically. Who's backing him? Who's still willing to align publicly? Who's quietly stepping away? That's the part no one prepares young artists for. Because the industry doesn't punish loudly, it repositions silently. For Gucci Mane, the fallout cut deeper than streams or headlines. His entire brand has always been rooted in resilience, loyalty, and giving chances. To be accused of betrayal wasn't just an insult, it was a challenge to his identity. And Gucci's response showed exactly how he handles those challenges, not with chaos, but with control. He didn't erase Pooh Shiesty. He didn't attack publicly. He didn't beg the internet to understand him. Instead, he let time work. Because time favors those with leverage. As weeks passed, the temperature cooled, but the consequences remained. Pooh Shiesty's independence came with isolation. Gucci Mane's silence came with authority. And slowly, the industry began to recalibrate its stance. Not publicly, but internally. That's when the larger conversation started. Artists across the industry began asking uncomfortable questions. What does loyalty actually mean? At what point does guidance turn into ownership? And who controls the narrative when relationships fall apart? This situation exposed something many artists feel, but rarely say, that mentorship in hip-hop often comes with unspoken expectations. Some see that as necessary structure. Others see it as limitation. Neither side is lying. They're just speaking from different experiences. And that's why reconciliation here feels unlikely. Not because either side is evil, but because their truths don't fully overlap. Gucci Mane's truth is built on survival. He came from an era where structure kept people alive, not just relevant. Mistakes were fatal. Guidance was protection. Loyalty wasn't emotional, it was practical. Pooh Shiesty's truth is built on expression. He represents a generation that values autonomy early. Ownership matters more than hierarchy. Silence feels like erasure. Speaking up feels like survival. Those two philosophies don't clash quietly. They collide. As the dust settles, one thing becomes clear. This war didn't end careers, it redefined paths. Pooh Shiesty now moves forward without the safety net of a powerful cosign, but with full control of his voice. That freedom will test him more than any label ever did. Gucci Mane moves forward unchanged in position, but challenged in perception. His legacy remains intact, but it now carries a public debate he didn't invite. And in hip-hop, legacy isn't just about what you build. It's about how others remember it. So is it really over? Not completely. Because loyalty wars don't end with apologies or final statements. They end when time decides whose version survives. And that takes years, not headlines. What this story ultimately teaches is uncomfortable but honest. In the music industry, loyalty and freedom rarely coexist peacefully. Someone always feels shortchanged. Someone always feels misunderstood. And when money, power, and identity overlap, truth becomes fragmented. Both Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane will continue forward separately. Not as enemies screaming across the internet, but as figures permanently shaped by this moment. And maybe that's the real ending. Not victory, not defeat, but consequence. If you've made it this far, ask yourself this. Whose side would you choose if the story was about you? The mentor who built the platform, or the artist who wanted to own his future? That question doesn't have an easy answer. And that's why this loyalty war will be remembered long after the noise fades. If you want more real industry breakdowns like this, hit subscribe, drop your opinion in the comments, and stay locked, because the next story might be even closer to home. If you've stayed with us through this entire breakdown, you already know this wasn't just another rap beef. This was a real loyalty test inside the music industry. And now, the conversation doesn't end here. It continues with you. Right now, I want you to pause and think, whose side are you really on? Is it the artist who felt betrayed and finally spoke up? Or the mentor who believes loyalty, structure, and patience built everything from the ground up? Drop your honest opinion in the comments. No filters. No bias. Because this debate isn't just about Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane, it's about every artist trying to survive the industry. If you learned something new from this story, make sure you hit that like button. It helps this video reach more people who care about real hip-hop stories, not just headlines. And if you want deep dives, real timelines, and uncut industry truths, subscribe right now so you don't miss what's coming next. We're covering stories the blogs won't fully explain, the power moves, the hidden consequences, and the truths behind the silence. And trust me, the next breakdown is already lined up, and it might shock you even more than this one. Turn on post notifications, because when these stories drop, you don't want to hear about them late. This channel isn't about picking sides, it's about exposing the full picture. So stay locked in, stay informed, and stay real. Subscribe, comment, share. Because in hip-hop, loyalty is everything, and the truth always comes out.